Okay, let's talk about Tampa.
Let's talk about Tampa. Can I tell you what I loved about the Tampa Bay Lightning? And a lot of people on Twitter hated it, but I loved it so much.
What?
They threw the biggest hissy fit. They acted like they've never won a cup before. They acted like the whole world was out to get them. And that level of self-delusion is what winners, it's what it takes to be a winner.
Well, it's funny. My buddy Ryan Kennedy at the Hockey News, who I used to work with whom I used to work, he always said sports is about people lying to themselves all the time. You know, and it is. It really is. And I assume you're talking about the too many men call. Is that the one you're talking about?
I'm talking about the too many men. I'm talking about the cross checks. I'm talking about breaking the sticks. I'm talking about Kucherov throwing his gloves at the equipment manager. I'm talking about all of it. Yeah.
Yeah. With the too many men call, I really, really think, and I could be wrong, and maybe John Cooper will tell me this later in the summer because we're such good pals. But I think when he did that night, I think it was to take the heat off his team. I really do. I think you're right. I think it was to take the heat. I think that was very calculated. Yeah. And I think he wanted to take the heat off his team because go back and watch that overtime. Like you might as well, they might as well have been playing Sweet Georgia Brown over the loudspeakers while that thing was going on because Colorado had the puck the whole time. They were dominant.
That was the most disappointing overtime for me. I was so excited that it was overtime. My wife was tired. She went to bed. I went and I put dishes in the dishwasher, and then I cracked open one of those non-alcoholic Heinekens that are actually pretty good. And I poured myself a bowl of chips, and I sat down on the couch, and then I saw this game has ended.
Yeah.
I had to go back and watch it. I was so excited to just settle in for some
that's one of those ones where
that's fight, right?
See, like I remember back in the early 2000s, it would go to triple overtime, and you'd seriously consider sticking a set of knitting needles into your eyeballs instead of watching it because it was terrible. But this was one where you'd want it to go triple overtime. You wanted to see this.
Excited for it.
Yeah,
I was ready for it. I was ready for a long night, but c'est la vie. But anyways, my point is that I really liked that passion that Tampa showed, and I think that's what do we want, right? What do we want out of our professional athletes? We're always changing the finish line. Yeah. We're always saying, oh, they don't care enough about winning. And then when they lose, it's like, oh, they're sore losers. And then when you know what I mean? It's like, come on, guys, piss off.
I have no problem.
I like the fact that a team of winners lost and threw an absolute hissy fit about it because they're coming back next year and they want to win.
Yep. I agree with you. And I don't think they're going anywhere in terms of being a serious Stanley Cup contender. I just wonder if it gets to the point where, the heart is willing, but the body is unable. Yeah. I'm wondering if we're not getting to that point with this team because they're going to break down. They're going to continue to break down because
their bodies are so broken.
And they played long playoff runs. They play a real heavy style. It's injuries I think are always they're always going to be an issue with this team. And now the way he has them blocking shots, I could see Anthony Cirelli breaking his hand and it's somebody breaking their foot or whatever. Yeah, so I think Tampa's. I don't think Tampa's going anywhere in terms of being a contender. I don't know if they're going to win another cup. I'm not sure they will. But as Ken Holland has often said, as you've just got to put yourself into that group, of say 6 to 8 teams that legitimately have a shot at winning the Stanley Cup. And that's all you can hope for. And then it just becomes battle of attrition, luck, hot streaks, all these other things. Yeah. And you put it together or you don't. Yeah. And then you win or you don't. But you have to be one of those teams that's got that legitimate chance to win. And I think Tampa's going to have that with or without Andre Palat, who's going to be an unrestricted free agent. They've still got a lot of their core tied up, and they're like I said, they're not going anywhere. I just wonder if they're not going to become one of those teams that I think the way they manage the regular season, and they've done it very, very well, is going to be key. Like, I don't think they're going to care if they finish third or fourth in the division.
Yeah.
It's all about that 2 months. And so how they manage that, I think, will be very, very interesting. But they're not going anywhere. They're a contender without question.
So 2 thoughts about the same guy's guy. We now know whose streak is more prevalent, Pat Maroon's or Corey Perry's. Corey Perry's 3 times finishing second is now intact, whereas Pat Maroon's, done after 3 times of finishing first.
Yep.
But can I say, and to that thing about kind of lying to yourself and all the rest of that with sports and stuff, Pat Maroon talking about how this was a particularly difficult loss because of what people played through. This is particularly difficult because of what people played through. The hell do you know about difficult losses? 3 cups on 2 teams in 3 years. Oh, man. It's like that time that I never went to the Stanley Cup final before. Oh, wait, no, I did. And then I won. Oh, wait, that wasn't a difficult loss, was it? Okay, the other time I went to the Stanley Cup final. Oh, but I won that time too. Oh, the third time I went to the Stanley. Oh, shoot, that was a win.
Damn it.
He's like,
well, and plus, I don't
particularly difficult. I'm like,
yeah.
But I love that. I love the fact that he's acting like he's never won a cup before.
Yeah.
He's never done it.
They're staying hungry. They
Pat
wanted
Maroon,
to win it.
Noted loser.
Yeah. but I mean, I don't really put a lot of stock into that whole we were this injured, we were that injured. By the time you get there, everybody's.
Oh no, Tampa was.
Everybody's
by a lot.
Yeah, they were. But you go to the final. You go to the final, and half your team is being kept together with elastic and string and chewing gum and wires. Yeah, like it's like so. Yeah, wham wham.
No, I mean, I completely agree with you. Tampa was way more banged up, partially because of the 3 long playoff runs, partially because they actually had to battle through this playoffs, whereas Colorado just sort of waltzed through. Right. Speaking of sweet George Brown.
Yeah.
But I just, I really actually just I thought it was almost profound how hungry they were. It was as if they never had a meal before in their lives to win this cup. And they just came short. And this goes to the same thing. Something that I've always appreciated about your writing, Ken. Check out kencampbell.substack.com. Something that I've always appreciated about your writing is that you don't latch on to the same tired old narratives that I see so many sports writers will resort to, which is
thanks.
Oh, they wanted it more. Oh, they just didn't.
I've never used that in my life. I've never used that in my life.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it makes no sense. It makes no sense because if you don't want it, then what are you doing there? They want it just as much. And you're right.
You could argue that Tampa wanted it more.
They may have.
Honest.
They may have. Yeah. Yeah, you could probably argue that.
Their bodies on the line like crazy. Like you could argue that, but my point is that they just ran into a team that was their superior. It was the more evolved version of the Tampa Bay Lightning in everywhere but net. And but I loved it. The other thing that I loved, Corey Perry in the water bottle. What? Did you see Kemper's water bottle?
No.
Corey Perry's up against the net after the play. Kemper's left the net or whatever. Corey Perry just casually pulls the water bottle out of the little holster, puts it on the net, and then as he's sort of turning to skate away, knocks it off the net on his way out. Just knocks it to the ice.
Nice.
Corey Perry used to be so dangerous and so, he was not likable because he was so dangerous with the headshots and all the rest of it, right?
Yeah.
But I remember last year, at one point, he did something to a goaltender, and the goalie literally found it so funny he was laughing, and you could see him on TV laughing. And you could see Corey Perry just doing this, I tried to get under your skin, but it is what it is, kind of thing. And Corey Perry is low key becoming one of the more fun players in the NHL to watch in his older age.
He is, really he is, and I think he's got more. I think he's rehabilitated his image in a lot of ways. Now he's the guy that everybody's kind of rooting for instead of just, out and out hating completely. Yeah. So yeah, I get it.
He's definitely become less prick, more, just lovable old curmudgeon kind of.
Yeah.
But yeah, that water bottle was just like, I just love it. I love guys. And I've even seen play about that, saying that, oh, it's stupid, it's dirty, it's this, it's that. And I'm like, just get under the guy's skin. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, Sean Avery swinging the stick in front of Marty Brodeur, right? You remember that? The stick in front of Marty Brodeur? You know what?
To me, Sean Avery, like, Corey Perry, when he does it, he doesn't make it about himself. Sean Avery made it about himself.
No, I don't like Sean Avery.
I had no time. I had no time for Sean Avery as a player. And there are a lot of guys kind of like that I don't have a lot of time for, because when they do it, they're not doing it to throw off their opponent. Well, they kind of are, but they're making it about themselves. Corey Perry has never made it about himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, my point about the swing of the stick, I agree with you in general terms about Sean Avery, but my point is that it was a completely non-dangerous play that completely threw off the best goalie in the game at the time. And so you've got to respect that thinking. For all of the nonsense that he did, you've got to respect that thinking. It was really something else. So funny. Oh man, Brodeur was pissed off.
He was.
So, do you want to go on to the Hockey Hall of Fame, or do you want to finish up on the Tampa Bay Lightning? Do you have any closing remarks?
Closing remarks. Best final I've seen in a long time.
Yeah,
it was a good final. Best final we've had in a while.
Maybe the best final since I was trying to think about it, and the only one that I can come to mind is the Pittsburgh Penguins versus the San Jose Sharks.
I thought this one was better. I thought this one was
the best. That was the last time that I actually was like,
okay,
up in the air. Who's going to win? How are they going to win? Stuff like that. Whereas like last year, all due respect to Montreal, the year before that, all due respect to Dallas, year before that, who
Boston,
did we have?
St. Louis,
Boston, St. Louis. I guess that was a toss-up as to who would win, but at the same time, it wasn't the most exciting style of
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. And we talk about Hall of Famers. I mean, St. Louis won the Stanley Cup, and I believe, like, they won't have any Hall of Famers on that team. Maybe Ryan O'Reilly. Maybe.
No, who might have been a Hall of Famer on that team, as Don Cherry used to call him, Peter Angelo.
Yeah, I don't.
Petrangelo.
Yeah, maybe. I don't see it, but yeah,
it's. I think
if anybody's a Hall of Famer, on that team, it might be Ryan O'Reilly, but I'm not even sure he gets in. But anyways, let's talk about the Hall of Fame.
That said that O'Reilly's probably going to age very horribly and very quickly soon. So, take that for what
that's interesting, because guys like that usually, they usually get more steely resolve with age. It'll be interesting. Yeah, it will be interesting to see how he ages. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I tend to think of the fellow that I was talking to, who I won't name drop, but I tend to think of him as a fairly smart fellow. So, there you go.
Okay.